is the thinking of a devotee. All right, we're going to go on now to mantra 2. Who would like to chant it for us? First line, one line at a time. Can we put it on the screen? Can we share the screen? You know, I don't have my own computer crashed and I borrowed this computer. I'm not very familiar with it.
Haribol, Maharaj?
Yes.
Can I
share this?
mantra 2?
Yeah, would you like to put the text on the board, on the screen, and then we can everybody can chant?
Maharaj, I do not have the soft copy. Balram Kinkar Prabhu?
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, can you share the text, the book?
Prabhu, if you can,
It's
I can share actually, then, but I need to.
yeah, Prabhu. You need to be host, I think.
Yeah, co-host.
Host will
Once. Okay, Prabhu.
Chidanand Prabhu is there, no? Chidanand.
Chidanand Prabhu is there, yes. Chidanand Prabhu, do you have this one, soft copy?
Oh, yeah, I have
Veda
also,
base.
but if I can
Yeah.
wait.
Veda base. It's in the Veda base.
Yeah, yeah. It's,
Also, Prabhupada books there
yeah,
also.
okay.
नहीं करू शकत आहे मी.
Okay, very good. Yes.
Haribol.
Kurvan evaha karmani.
Ani.
Jijivishek chatam sama. Ivam tvaye nanyate tosti. Na karma lipyate nare. All right, so we'll go on to the translation. Somebody let's see who, I've got the list of names of the devotees here. Maybe I'll read out some name and you, if you're here, you can read, right? What about Tribanga Gopal? Is he here? Tribanga Gopal? No?
Yes, not.
Okay, he's not here.
Yes, not.
Uttama Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam.
Okay, you can read for us, Prabhu, read translation and begin the purport.
One may aspire to live for hundreds of years if he continuously goes on working that way. For that sort of work, do not bind him to the law of karma. There is no alternative to this way for man. Purport?
Okay, wait, before you go on, let me ask you. Prabhupada is translated like this, he said, one may aspire to live for hundreds of years if he continuously goes on working in that way. So what is that way?
Prescribed
Can you
duties.
speak up? I can't hear what you're saying.
Maharaj, what Prabhupada wants to say, if he can continue to do work, if that karma doesn't have a karma bandhan, means entanglement of karma, if it is not there, he can continue to do work.
Well, I don't think that's exactly the point which Prabhupada was making in the last verse.
Yeah, last verse, Prabhupada was saying that we should work without attachment, and also we should have that know that the proprietorship is lordship. You know, everything belongs to Lord.
So what was the term Prabhupada used?
Tyagatena, that is, you would enjoy whatever has been allotted to you.
No. There was a particular term Prabhupada used. He's talking about working in a particular way. Mentioned in the last verse.
Lipate?
No.
Maharaj. Maharaj.
Huh?
Maharaj is
Yes,
Ishavasyam.
that's the word. That's the word we want. So what is the meaning of Ishyavashyam?
Everything controlled by Lord.
Everything controlled by the Lord.
Owned by Lord.
God-centered, God-centered.
Yes, God-centered. That's correct. That's better. That's the way to put it. It's God-centered. Right. The Isha goes on working in that way. That way, in the spirit of Ishyavashya, in the spirit that Krishna, of God, is in the center. Then that sort of work will not bind them to the law of karma. All right, so we'll go into the purport. Go ahead, Prabhu. Uttama Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. No one wants to die. Everyone wants to live as long as he can drag on. This tendency is visible not only individually, but also collectively in the community, society, and nation. There is a hard struggle for life by all kinds of living entities. And the Vedas say that this is quite natural. The living being is eternal by nature, but due to his bondage in material existence, he has to change his body over and over. This process is called transmigration of the soul of karma bandhan, bondage by one's work. The living entity has to work for his livelihood because that is the law of material nature. And if he does not act according to these prescribed duties, he transgresses the law of nature and blinds himself more and more to the cycle of birth and death in the many spaces of life.
Thank you.
Very well.
So Prabhupada, you can answer for us, Uttama Krishna Prabhu. Prabhupada is talking about everyone wants to live as long as they can, they want to drag on. Who was a good example of this? Can you think of some good examples of materialists who want to drag on the life?
Drag on the life, Maharaj, from top to bottom, everybody wants to drag their life. I can give one without taking the name in the GCC. There's someone who was taking every day as a practical example to get a long life, to get healthy body. Every day, Indian currency, say 100,000 rupees, used to spend 200,000 rupees used to spend just one particular fish egg from Norway to bring for him to get a long life and to live healthy, strong. One of the king in this vicinity has done that, and it was very, very prominent story.
No. How long ago was that?
It was just only a couple of years before. Daily 200,000 Indian rupees used to spend only one particular fish which is used to come from Norway. That egg he eat just to keep him healthy and live long. And every time he has 7 doctors with him, every moment to be with him.
Oh, can you give us an example from the scriptures now?
Scripture, I mean, Hiranyakashipu,
Yes.
Hiranyakashipu,
Right.
King
That's
Ravana,
exactly
every
right.
now and then they were scared.
Yeah.
Kamsa.
Kamsa. Means,
Kamsa.
yeah,
Yeah.
Maharaj,
Many examples, right?
whoever is living with Dhihatmika Buddhi or other than worshipping to Lord Vishnu, even worshipping Lord Vishnu, also we are trying to live as long as possible. In this, can I give one example? One of our Maharaj in his class, he said, recently he left his, Maharaj has left his body. Even he said, look, we being the leader of the society, every moment, nobody wants to die. Even I myself, being the leader of the society, I want to live long, and that I have a problem, I have gone to doctor, I take medicine, I want to live lifelong. But there has a difference. One is thinking to live long and preach Krishna consciousness, fulfill Guru's mission, and one is thinking materially to enjoy. But end of the day, the Maharaj saying, end of the day, everyone living entity in this world wants to live long.
Maharaj, is it Yayati from scriptures?
I'm sorry, what?
Yayati, Maharaj, Yayati.
King Yayati.
King Yayati.
Well, what did Yayati want actually?
The body of an youth.
No. He was cursed to be old, right? Sukracharya cursed him to be old, but he gave the curse to the son.
Yes. Yes, Maharaj.
But then he was so mad after some woman that he went to heaven after her. All right, anyway, let's go ahead. So the problem is karma bandhana, that we're in bondage in the material world, taking birth and dying. A living entity is caught in this cycle of birth and death because of our karma. Let's go ahead. Somebody read second paragraph. Maybe we'll ask.
Hare Krishna, Dandavatpana Maharaj.
What's your name, Prabhu?
My name is Sribanga Gopal Das.
Okay, come. Okay, go ahead.
Other life forms are also subject to the cycle of birth and death. But when the living entity attains a human life, he gets a chance to get free from the chain of karma. Karma, akarma, and vikarma are very clearly described in Bhagavad Gita. Actions that are performed in terms of one's prescribed duties, as mentioned in the revealed scriptures, are called karma. Actions that free one from the cycle of birth and death are called akarma. And actions that are performed through the misuse of the freedom and that direct one to the lower life forms are called vikarma. Of these three types of actions, that which frees one from the bondage of karma is preferred by the intelligent man. Ordinarily, men wish to perform good work in order to be recognized and achieve some higher status of life in this world or in the heaven. But more advanced men want to be free altogether from the actions that react and the reactions of work. Intelligent men well know that both good and bad work equally bind one to the material miseries. Consequently, they seek that work which will free them from the reactions of both good and bad work. Such liberation work is described here in the pages of Sri Isopanisad. Hare Krishna.
So Prabhu, you can tell us, please, give us some example about karma, vikarma, and akarma. Tell us, give us give us some actual idea. What is what you would be doing if you're doing karma, or if you're doing vikarma or akarma.
Vikarma totally banned by the scriptures. If we do vikarma, definitely we will be taking birth again and undergo the suffering, because during
Well,
the
just tell us what kind of things they do.
Vikarma, killing cow is a vikarma, and killing brahmana is a vikarma. These are all, against the Shastra, and they will be punished in their next life, even during the life and the next life, according to the law of nature by the arrangement of Lord Krishna. Akarma is a karma which doesn't bring good or bad result, because we offer all our karma and result to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna while we do any karma, any karmic activity in this material world. On the result, we are not keeping any attachment. That is a karma. The karma.
Tell me, what are you doing?
A karma, whatever the karma he does, he doesn't have attachment to the fruits of this activity.
What about karma?
Karma, definitely he gets the benefit, and for the good pious activity, he gets sin for the bad activity, and he will be entangled again and again in the material ocean, and he will keep on taking birth again and again.
Prabhupada talks about prescribed duties. Karma is doing your prescribed duties.
Yes.
Mentioned in the scriptures, prescribed duties. So can you tell us what that would be? What would you be doing? What are your prescribed duties?
Our Jivatma prescribed duty is to serve the Lord. We have to follow the scripture and do our karma. Exact sloka from Bhagavad Gita, I forgot, I read, I heard the classes, I have forgotten, Maharaj.
So I don't think that's quite correct, Prabhu. I'm not very satisfied with this description of karma. Prescribed duties is mentioned in the scriptures.
It is a Varnashrama Dharma, the Prabhupada mean, I do not know, Maharaj.
Yes.
Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, everybody they have to do according to their, Chadurvarniya Maya system, Guna Karma Vipaka Chaha. That's
But we don't have Varnashram Dharma today. We don't have any Varnashram Dharma today. There's no Varnashram Dharma. So how do we do karma today?
We have to do Bhagavan Krishna in the center and act.
Well, that's devotional service. If
Yes.
you put that's akarma, that's not karma, that's akarma. If Krishna's there in the center, that's akarma.
Yeah, yes, Maharaj.
Right? So karma,
Yeah,
karma is something which is done for our own material benefit.
For the sense enjoyment, Maharaj.
It may be you do Shraddha for the departed ancestors, for the father or something like that who's left the world, and you do the Shraddha ceremony for him. You know, that's prescribed duty. Maintaining your family also, that's prescribed duty. Looking at you, we have debts to people, we have debts to the family, we have debts to society, we have debts to the nation. This is all prescribed duty. I have to pay off some debts here and there.
Hare Krishna.
That's karma.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Right, but akarma, somebody else can tell us what is akarma?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes.
Karma is the devotional service what we carry out with unalloyed devotional service at the lotus feet of Krishna and devoting all our time, mind, energy, all the ways we serve for the pleasure of Krishna.
Yes, akarma means devotional service, beginning with hearing and chanting. Right? That's our that's akarma. And vikarma, is it only killing cows and killing Brahmins? Can somebody else say about vikarma?
Which is against the Shastra.
Yes, some Mataji, tell us, what is vikarma?
Any sinful activity.
Yes, and what are sinful activities?
The 6 types of sins also, which is mentioned in like, 6 kinds of sins which a person do, which is against the law of nature, like kill.
Like what?
The 6 kinds of sins which a person carries out, like taking somebody's money, robbing somebody's money, or
Aggressor.
These 6 kinds of aggressions.
Oh, 6 kinds of aggressors. If somebody sets fire to your house or kidnaps your wife, like those are 6 kinds of aggressors. You can kill them, right? No, but actually sinful activities, we could simply describe sinful activities as meat eating, intoxication, gambling, and illicit sex. This is vikarma. These 4 activities, right?
Yes, Maharaj.
Meat, fish, and eggs, impure foods, animal flesh, these things, this is the vikarma. Not just only killing cow, killing Brahman, that's very serious, very heavy karma. But vikarma, sinful activities, is all centered around these things. Intoxication, gambling, meat eating, and illicit sex. This is all vikarmic activity. It brings us suffering. But akarma, that is hearing and chanting, worshipping Krishna. And karma, these are pious activities. Prabhupada says here, prescribed duties. Well, doing your prescribed duty, that's also pious. You know, take care of your family, take care of, you pay back the different debts which we have. We have debts to our teachers, we have debts to the great sages, these different things. This is all part of our prescribed duties. So that's karma. So,
Krishna Maharaj.
yes.
Maharaj, just I wanted to clarify, if there are so many other activities, but can they be categorized under vikarma? For example, there are so many other activities other than these 4 sinful activities what we have. For example, somebody who is following his own whim, he does his own karma. For example, two people, they don't marry and then they stay together and they try to enjoy. And some people, they wanted to enjoy the nature's beauty and they do. There are so many other activities are there, Maharaj. So will that be coming under vikarma, or only we can say that vikarma is only these 4 sinful activities? That is my question.
Yeah, I mean, there of course are many different ways in which people are sinful. You know, like setting fire to somebody's house is certainly sinful. Kidnapping someone's wife is also sinful. Giving somebody poison is also sinful. As you mentioned, 6 kinds of aggressors. Yeah, but generally it's all based on the basic principle of sinful life for an individual is on these four things, based on these four things. But there are many deviations from that, certainly. Many different ways in which people are more sinful. Okay, ordinary men wish to perform good work, to be recognized and achieve higher status of life. That, see, this is karma. And they would like to go to heaven, but more advanced men want to be free altogether from the cycle, from the actions and so this is akarma. So they seek that work which will free them from the reactions of both good and bad work. Such liberated work is described here in the pages of Sri Isopanisad. So it's described here, working with the Ishavasya spirit. If we work with the Ishavasya spirit, that is certainly akarma. And therefore, the translation says, one can live for hundreds of years. If you can go on working in that way, you live a very long time. Why? Because you're not getting any karma. We all leave the world because of our karma. Our karma takes us out of this body, takes us to another body. But if we work with the Ishavasya spirit, that nothing belongs to me, is all Krishna's, then that is the real Ishavasya spirit. And you can live. You want to live a long time, that's how you do it. Because no karma. Is it clear?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes.
This worshipping of demigods like Ganesha or Shiva, Durga is coming under karma or akarma, Maharaj?
Karma.
Well, it depends a lot on what the motive is. What is your motive? It may just simply be karma, but it could also be vikarma. It depends how you worship them and what your motive in worshiping them is.
If you ask like Krishna Prema, it will be like karma.
No, if you ask Krishna Prema, that's okay. That's akarma. There's no karma for that. But generally, people don't worship demigods for Krishna Prema. It's not very common. There are some people who do it, and if they do that, then that's akarma. But that's not really what's encouraged in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna said, people who worship demigods are generally less intelligent. And they worship the demigods to get things which are limited and temporary. But there were some souls, some great souls who also worshipped the demigods as a part of Krishna, seeing them in relation to the Supreme Lord. So if you have that consciousness that you see the demigods as a part of the Supreme Lord and you worship them to go to Krishna, then that is akarma.
Like Gopi used to worship Katyayani Devi?
Yes, gopis worship Katyayani Devi to get Krishna as a husband.
Yeah.
They wanted Krishna as a husband. Why? Not for themselves, but for the pleasure of Krishna. They were doing everything for the pleasure of Krishna. There was no thought for their own enjoyment, but for Krishna's enjoyment. I think Bharat Maharaj is the example of a person. He worshipped demigods and he worshipped them in relation to the Supreme Lord, knowing that they were part of the Supreme Lord.
Hare Krishna
But that's
Maharaj.
not very common. Most people, they worship demigods, they want something material. Or they want to become one. They want the Sayuja Mukti. They want merging into the Brahman. We don't find people really worshipping the Lord, worshipping devas to get bhakti. Okay, go ahead. Someone read next. Let's see who we got here. You can read. Achyuta Giridhari. Is he there?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, please
Yes.
read.
The instructions of Sri Isopanisad are more elaborately explained in the Bhagavad Gita, sometimes called the Gita-Upanishad, the cream of all Upanishads. In Bhagavad Gita 3.9 to 16, the personality of Godhead says that one cannot attain the state of Nashkarmya or Akarma without executing the prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedic literature. This literature can regulate the working energy of a human being in such a way that he can gradually realize the authority of the Supreme Being. When he realizes the authority of the personality of Godhead, Vasudev or Krishna, it is to be understood that he has attained the stage of positive knowledge. In this purified stage, the modes of nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance, cannot act, and he is able to work on the basis of Nashkarmya. Such work does not bind one to the cycle of birth and death.
All right. So, nice karmya or akarma, meaning no reactions from the work. So, we're hearing how to do this. Prabhupada talks about you have to do prescribed duties as they're mentioned in the Vedic literature. So prescribed duties in the Vedic literature. That is, of course, we hope that Prabhupada is talking about the devotional service. This literature can regulate the working energy of a human being and gradually realize the authority of the Supreme Being. So it's not immediate, it's going to take some time to come to that level, gradually recognizing the authority of the Supreme Being. We see the Vedas are like that. You come through the Vedas, and the Upanishads are like a stepping stone to bring us to the higher thing. From the Vedas, very difficult to know Krishna. Takes time. But from the devotee, you know Krishna very quickly. So when he realizes the personality of Godhead, that is to be understood that he's come to the nice karma platform, positive stage. Above the modes, he's transcended the modes, right? So how do we transcend the modes? In Bhagavad Gita, what does Krishna say about how to transcend the modes of nature? What do we need to do?
By devotional service to Lord Krishna.
Yes, right. Mam chayo vayabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. By bhakti yoga, we can come to this nice karma stage, right? If we go through this other process, it's going to take more time. But anyway, can do it. Just takes, there's different ways. different paths. Okay, go ahead. Somebody read next paragraph.
Maharaj, just one clarification I want in last paragraph, that if
Yes.
someone is worshipping Lord Krishna for sense gratification, it will be under karma or a karma?
Worshipping Lord Krishna for sense gratification. Yeah, that would be karma.
Okay.
Not everybody's worshipping Krishna in the mood of pure devotion. Right? Devotional service can also be in the modes. Devotional service can be in the mode of passion and in the mode of ignorance. You may do bhakti, but you may do it in the mode of ignorance. So, everything will depend on the consciousness, the attitude. We can't think just because I'm worshipping Krishna, so it's akarma. No, of course, it's good you're worshipping Krishna, but you have to come to the higher, we have to come to the higher platform. We have to awaken transcendental knowledge. We have to know that worshipping Krishna for sense gratification, that is, you get sense gratification, that's material. That's not how you get liberation. Sense gratification will entangle you in the material world, cause you to take birth again and again. So a devotee should be thinking about how to get free of this world, how to get out from the world of birth and death. That's what we want. Right?
Yes, thanks, Maharaj. But we say na Shreya and Priya, Maharaj. We say that even if we will worship Lord Krishna, so he will give us the what is Shreya for us.
Well, Shreyas is what is for eternal benefit. Shreyas is what means for our eternal benefit. Prayas is temporary benefit. But Shreyas is for your eternal benefit. So for your eternal benefit, you have to do devotional service, you have to come to the level of pure goodness. Right?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
All right, someone read the next paragraph. Ajita Madhusudan.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I will read Maharaj next paragraph again. Hare Krishna. The instructions of Sri Isopanisad are more elaborately explained in Bhagavad Gita, sometimes called Gita-Upanishad. The cream of all the Upanishads.
No, we read that.
In the Bhagavad Gita. Okay.
We read this.
Factually.
Factually, no, Hare Krishna Maharaj. Factually, no one has to do anything more than the render devotional service to the Lord. However, in the lower stage of life, one cannot immediately adopt the activities of devotional service, nor can one completely stop fruitive work. A conditioned soul is accustomed to working for sense gratification, for his own selfish interest, immediately or extended. An ordinary man works for his own sense enjoyment, and when this principles of sense enjoyment is extended to include his society, nation, or humanity in general, it assumes various attractive names such as altruism, socialism, communism, nationalism, and humanitarianism. These isms are certainly very attractive forms of karma bandhana, karmic bondage. But the Vedic instructions of Sri Isopanisad is that if one actually want to live for any of above isms, he should make them God-centered. There is no harm in becoming a family man or an altruist, a socialist, a communist, a nationalist, or a humanitarian, provided that one executes his activities in relation with Ishavasya, the God-centered conception. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
All right, so this is very interesting. Now Prabhupada is explaining about how not everybody's really able to take up devotional service so fully, right? We all have you have some responsibilities in the material world. And you need to get some sense gratification. You're not able to completely surrender everything, give up everything, and just do devotional service. We have our own interests. Prabhupada said maybe immediate or extended. Right, I'm sure that's the situation. Everybody there in the Gulf there, they're in that situation. You're working, you have your own, you have to get some enjoyment from the work. You have to get something out of it for yourself. So Prabhupada explained how sometimes people their interests become more extended. They work in, doing social work, welfare work, working for the humanity. And so Prabhupada calls these things isms. This is also karmic activities. Right? These isms working, it's all done on the bodily platform. But Prabhupada said there's no harm in doing these things if you do them in God consciousness. We don't want to do them in the bodily consciousness. You want to on the spiritual platform. We also do welfare activities. We're doing a lot of food distribution in Mayapur here with the COVID, with the lockdown, many people in difficulty. Every day our vehicles go out to distribute prasadam in different areas around Mayapur. And so we do it in God consciousness. We give people prasadam and we have the chanting of Hare Krishna. So you want to do welfare activities. Prabhupada talks about Krishna consciousness as being spiritual communism. We're not against communism if it's on the spiritual platform. So all of these different philosophies which people have, they can all be purified with Krishna consciousness. Any question about this?
Maharaj,
agrees we need
ritual
some
karma.
gratification.
Maharaj, Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, the ritual karmas as prescribed in Vedas, they are meant for only prosperity. Originally, they are meant for prosperity.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you very well.
You can't hear me, isn't it? Oh, I'm sorry.
Can you speak a bit louder?
The ritual karmas as prescribed in Vedas, they are for prosperity. They are not for upliftment of self-realization or something like that. That is mainly for prosperity. Are you hearing, Maharaj?
Yes. the Vedas mainly deal with the three modes of nature, right? Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, the Vedas deal with the three modes of nature. So the Vedas are telling us about how to improve our material life. That's the main theme of the Vedas. How to live in this world, how to be happy, materially prosperous. It's a karmakanda path. This is what you get mostly in the Vedas. There is some bhakti there in the Vedas, but not much. It's covered. It's not so easily understood. Right?
Yes.
And even Srila Vyasadeva got confused that he was writing all of his Puranas and he was just glorifying the path of material progress. Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. And he didn't give much attention to bhakti, and he didn't really emphasize the importance of getting out the material world by devotional service. He just spoke about, you know, he'd written so many books, the Vedanta Sutra and the Mahabharata, and it's all that kind of stuff. So if you just study the Mahabharata, Jiva Goswami said, nobody gets love of God from the Mahabharata. Mahabharata is all about karmakanda activities mostly. And a little bit there in the Bhagavad Gita, of course, from the Bhagavad Gita we get, but Bhagavad Gita is only a tiny part of Mahabharata. So even Vyasadeva got confused, got lost about the whole thing, and it took Narada Muni to come and enlighten him and tell him, you know, that you have to emphasize the importance of devotional service. Okay, go ahead in Bhagavad Gita. Who is next?
In the Bhagavad
Gita. Pushpanjali.
Pushpanjali Mataji is there. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
can she read?
Pushpan.
Pushpanjali Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please unmute yourself. Pushpanjali Mataji, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Pushpanjali Mataji, can you unmute yourself?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, we can hear you Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, ये पढ़िए आप. It's like you can read this paragraph.
Last one. When?
नहीं, जो ऊपर है, in the
Bhagavad Gita states.
Yeah, in the Bhagavad Gita 2.4.
Mataji.
In the Bhagavad Gita 2.40, Lord Krishna states that God-centered activities are so valuable that just a few of them can save a person from the greatest danger. The greatest danger of life is the danger of gliding down again into the evolutionary cycle of birth and death among the 84,000 species. If somehow or other a man misses the spiritual opportunity afforded by his human form of life, falls down again into the evolutionary cycle, he must be considered most fortunate. Due to his defective senses, a foolish man cannot see that this is happening. Consequently, Sri Isopanisad advises us to exert our energy in the spirit of Isavasya. Being so engaged, we may wish to live for many, many years. Otherwise, a long life in itself has no value. A tree lives for hundreds and hundreds of years, but there is no point in living a long time like trees, or breathing like bellows, or begetting children like hogs and dogs, or eating like camels. A humble, God-centered life is more valuable than a colossal hoax of a life dedicated to godless altruism or socialism.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
So Srila Prabhupada talks about people eager for the long life. Said trees also live a long life. So how long did Shankaracharya stay in this world?
57.
When Shankaracharya disappeared from this world, how long was it?
34.
How long was he here?
37 or 34?
32 years.
32.
What about Lord Chaitanya?
48.
48.
48, right. So they were not here very long, but they did great work. So Prabhupada said, better a moment of full consciousness than a lifetime like a tree. So we give more importance to the consciousness. We want to develop good consciousness. So Isopanisad is telling us how we need to do it. We need to work in the spirit of Ishavasya, recognizing the Lord as the proprietor. Don't waste the human life. We've got this human body. It's a very great chance. If we waste it, we're very unfortunate. Go ahead. Next paragraph. Another Maraji. Maraji. Sugopi. Who is this, Sugopi?
Hare Krishna, Pranam Maharaj. When altruistic activities are executed in the spirit of Sri Isopanisad, they become a form of Karma Yoga. Such activities are recommended in the Bhagavad Gita 18.5 to 9, for they guarantee their executor protection from the danger of sliding down into the evolutionary process of birth and death. Even though such God-centered activities may be half finished, they are still good for the executor because they will guarantee him a human form in his next birth. In this way, one can have another chance to improve his position on the path of liberation. Hare Krishna.
All right, so Karma Yoga, working in Karma Yoga, offering the results, right? In the spirit of Ishavasya, we're offering the results for Krishna. So that guarantees one the executor, that at least you get the human body next life. You can go on with your devotional service. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right, in the 6th chapter, he describes about the yogi. He's not perfect. He will take birth in a good family. He'll get the opportunity to continue in the next life, to continue devotional service. Just like Prabhupada said, he said both he and his spiritual master, they were both born in families of devotees. Prabhupada said his own father was a pure devotee. He said he used to always worship the deity, and he made when Prabhupada was a young man, they wanted to send him to England to be a lawyer, but his father said, no, I don't want my son to become like that. I want him to be, his father had him trained to play Madanga. And then when he was a young boy, also his father arranged he could do Rathi Yatra. So Prabhupada said his father was pure devotee. He used to worship the deities every day. And of course, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, his father was Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So that's that kind of birth, very special when you're born in devotee family. It's because of previous birth. Go ahead. Let's have another Mataji. Krishna. What about Pujita Hari Priya?
Dinapavan Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Mataji can unmute. Dinapavan Prabhu, Pujita Mataji, Hare Krishna.
It's taking a very long time. You're very slow.
Yeah. Maharaj says he cannot unmute himself. I don't know what is the problem. He sent me the message. He said he
Okay,
cannot
so
unmute.
have somebody else read.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
Now I can unmute. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes, come on, quick.
Yeah, how one can execute God-centered activities is elaborately explained in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami. We have rendered this book into English as a nectar of devotion. We recommended this valuable book to all who are interested in performing their activities in the spirit of Sri Ishu Nipashyabal. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Maharaj, I have read the last paragraph.
Okay. So, how one can execute God consciousness activities? You've all studied Nectar of Devotion?
Yeah, Maharaj.
Abhilashita shunyam jnana karma adi anavrutam.
Can you tell us then, what are these God-centered activities? Give us some examples. You've studied Nectar of Devotion. Tell us, what are these God-centered activities that are described in Nectar of Devotion? Yes, Pujita Hari Puja. Please tell me some activities, God-centered activities, described, which are mentioned in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Rupa Goswami mentions about 64 different activities.
Chanting the holy name, reading Bhagavatam,
Visiting Dham, then deity worship.
Okay, what were the 5 activities which were stressed? What's the 5 activities, Panchanga Bhakti, that any one of them can give one perfection in life.
Hearing Bhagavatam,
Association of devotees,
Reading Bhagavatam,
living in the Dham,
chanting of holy name and residing in Dhamma,
deity worship,
deity worship.
Harinam Sankirtan.
Okay. This is stressed by Rupa Goswami. And you see in our morning program, in our temples, ISKCON temples, all of these activities are there. Chanting the holy name, studying the Bhagavatam, associating with devotees, worshipping the deities, and living in the holy Dham. Temple is like a holy Dham, every temple. So this Prabhupada wanted everyone to get that opportunity to practice devotional service. So you go to the morning program in the temple, they have all these activities. If you don't go to temple, then you do it at home, in your own home every morning. You do Mangal Arati, you chant the holy name, study the Bhagavatam a bit, and then you have association with devotees, get the other family members to come and sit with you, and you make your home like a holy place. So it's a very practical program for Krishna consciousness. So you can see how Krishna consciousness works. We have to dedicate the life to the service of Krishna, recognizing he is the proprietor. It's all for him. We don't need anything ourselves, but we need to depend on Krishna. You want to live a long life? Nobody wants to die, right? We all like to live long. So how to do it? Recognize Krishna as the proprietor. Work for him, dedicate offer everything to him. This way we get the best insurance, the best policy, taking shelter of Krishna. In the material world, we make so many plans, how we can live a long life, how we can extend our life, how to protect ourselves. We just surrender to Krishna and depend on Krishna. At the same time, we shouldn't be foolish. Prabhupada said, if you know there's a tiger in the forest, you don't go for a walk in the forest. So that would be crazy. Same way, if you know there's a big pandemic somewhere, you don't go running around embracing everybody, because you know a pandemic, you can get disease. So practical also. But the important thing is the attitude which we have. We have to understand, we have to accept that everything is for Krishna. It's for Krishna's pleasure. We not only cook for Krishna, we work for Krishna. And we clean for Krishna. And we speak for Krishna. So everything dedicated in Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada talks how people, they're fond of these different social activities, altruistic activities. They want to do good for others. They like the idea of helping people. So, okay, do it in Krishna consciousness. It's nothing separate from Krishna. Krishna consciousness is into everything. Prabhupada said even politics, we can go into politics. At one point, devotee even went into politics, and Prabhupada was encouraging. But then he saw it's so much money, it's not worth it. He didn't want to put all the money that it requires. Okay, are there any questions on this verse? Anybody?
Maharaj, like we have read in last to last paragraph that all ism Prabhupada is criticizing. So that we can understand like this one, that if Krishna is in center, then it is acceptable in the devotion. But if it is for sense gratification, then it is wrong.
Yes, that's the principle. If we do it for Krishna, that's acceptable. But if we do it for our own sense gratification, that is material. You get karma. You do some activities, you offer something, you do some charity, welfare activities. If we do it to get some name and fame, it's not very good. You know, some people, they like that, they want to get fame, they like to be known, oh, so charitable, oh, he did so much. They like that idea, they like the prestige that they give charity. But a devotee doesn't do like that. Bhakti yoga, when we give something, we know it's all Krishna's, it's not mine to give. So when a devotee gives charity, he gives it unknowingly. He doesn't want people to know. Keeps it secret. Because he knows it's all Krishna's, it's not mine. Karma yoga is a bit different. Karma yoga, we think I'm giving. You know, we work and then we give something from the result of our work. But in Bhakti yoga, we surrender first. See, karma yoga, the surrender comes at the end. But in Bhakti yoga, the surrender comes at the beginning. Karma yogi thinks, I'm giving this for Krishna. Karma yoga, karmarpana, right? Offering the results of our work to Krishna. So the karma yogi, he thinks, I'm giving this to Krishna. But the bhakti yogi doesn't think like that. The bhakti yogi knows it's all Krishna's. I don't have anything to give to Krishna, it's all his. Isn't that correct? Do you agree? Nobody's speaking.
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you. Yes, Maharaj.
Yes, Maharaj.
Acceptance, the argument, yeah, it's all Krishna's. We have to recognize Krishna as the proprietor. If he is the proprietor, what do we have to give him? It's all his. We have to give back to him what is his. Right? Prabhupada gives the example, money lying in the street. So one person sees the money, he takes the money, puts it in his own pocket, and goes and spends it. What kind of person is that?
Thief.
Well, he found it. It was just lying in the street. Nobody's property. Is he still a thief?
Because it is Krishna's property.
Yeah. No, he took the money for himself, so he's a karmi. Took it for his own sense gratification.
Yeah.
Right? And then somebody else, he sees the money, he doesn't want to touch it. He thinks, oh, it's Maya. I'm not going to touch it. Just leave it there. Who's that?
Karma sannyasa.
Yani.
What? Speak up.
Yani.
Jnani, right? Yeah, the Jnani. The Jnani is always renouncing everything, not this, not this, not this. And he doesn't want to do anything, see anything, doesn't want to say anything. So even he sees money laying in the street, oh, it's Maya, don't touch it, leave it. But what does the devotee do when they see the money?
Used in the Krishna service.
Yeah, he'll bring it to the temple and put it in the donation box, or he'll use it for Krishna service. Right, takes it for Krishna. Because we know it's Krishna, Krishna is the proprietor. So this is important. This principle of using everything for Krishna. This is yoga. Body, mind and words, all in the service of Krishna. We have to use our body like that for Krishna's service. Use our mind also, Maharaj Ambarish, right? Always fix the mind on Krishna. Savaimana Krishna Pararavindayoy. But once the mind is fixed on Krishna, then use the senses for Krishna's service. So everything is dedicated to Krishna for his satisfaction. So it's very important for us to try to remember this principle. Then there's no karma. You don't get entangled. Just like Arjuna was going to fight in the battle of Kurukshetra, and he was worried about sinful reactions. How did Krishna overcome this argument? You've all studied the Bhagavad Gita, right? Remember the different reasons Arjuna was not going to fight?
Yes, Maharaj.
One reason was, yes?
Compassion, Maharaj.
Compassion, okay. Another one?
And sin occurs.
Sorry?
Sin, Maharaj.
Yes, sinful reactions, yeah.
Then Varna Shankara.
Yeah, unwanted progeny, right?
Indecision.
Indecision, yeah. And there was one more.
And then no happiness.
Right, he wouldn't be able to find happiness. Right.
Loss of enjoyment.
Yes. So how did Krishna defeat these arguments?
Krishna says, like, just perform your duty and leave the rest to leave the result.
Atma Tattva.
No.
The argument of compassion was defeated by talking about soul.
Compassion was defeated by
talking about Sankhya Yoga.
Knowledge of the soul, right? Right? And then
temporary.
How did he defeat the problem about sinful reactions?
When you are doing your duty as a Kshatriya, there won't be any sinful reactions, Maharaj.
So what is that, doing your duty?
He is a Kshatriya, so his duty is to establish the Dharma, and for that even killing required, he should do killing.
But it's not just doing the duty, but it's doing the duty in a detached manner. Being detached from the result.
Using the Buddhi Yoga.
Detached work, right?
Detached.
Yes.
In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives examples of people who did that kind of work. Do you remember?
Yes, Maharaj. Janaka Maharaj.
Yes, Janaka Maharaj and one more. Nobody
Jal,
know?
Jal Bharat.
No. Nobody knows? Krishna, Lord Krishna said, I myself, I perform my duty without the result.
2.5.
Because Krishna has to show the example to everyone. He said, if I did not do my duty, the whole world would follow me. Right? So Lord Krishna himself gave himself as the example. You do your work. Karma yoga means working in a detached way. When we're detached from the result, that is karma yoga. So you work, but without attachment to the result. Because we know the work is our duty, but the result is not our duty. The result, that's given by Krishna, whatever he gives. We just try our best to do the duty. That's the idea. Perform our duty with detachment. And in that way, then we become free from all reactions to work. And when you work like that, you do much better. When we're detached from the results, when you just go ahead and do it without worrying about the results, you can perform much nicer. You do much better. For athletes and for businessmen and like that, they find that they work the best, they perform the best when they're not so worried about the results. And they're not trying, they're not just thinking about the result, but they're just simply doing it. It's a duty. So this is the idea. You know, this is karma yoga. So all of these activities can be done like that, with the spirit of Isyavasya, doing it for Krishna. That's actually, let's just say Buddha yoga, yeah. Okay, any other question?
Maharaj. Maharaj, giving donation for the Krishna cause or any for devotees or for Vaishnava Prasadam or like ISKCON activities is considered as a devotional activity and it does not attract karma. So for that, how to get detachment from there? Like when we do some donation, then we feel like our name should be announced or something. So it should be there or no?
Well, in Bhagavad Gita, we'll see charity is described in goodness, passion, and ignorance.
Okay.
So charity and passion is done more for our own name and fame. We want to get recognition. But charity and goodness is done in a more discreet manner, without letting people know. You do it, but you do it as a sense of duty, but you do it without letting everybody know about it.
So that
That's
everybody
actually
includes
the mode of goodness.
own spiritual master. Its spiritual master should know it or no?
Yeah, spiritual master, if you're giving the donation to the spiritual master, then yeah, of course, you know, he's going to know about it. But if you're giving it to the temple, you don't need to tell the spiritual master.
Okay, Maharaj. Thank you.
But you know, you can tell him if you like, confidentially, you know. You don't want to make a big show of it, a big, you know, to advertise it in front of the general public. That's the main point. But, you know, spiritual master, somebody confidential way and like that, you can mention to him and get his blessings that you want to donate, do this charity. This charity in the mode of goodness is given to a qualified person at on a proper time, proper place, for a proper purpose, good purpose. That's
Thank you,
the
Maharaj.
highest charity. Any other question?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam. May I ask a question from the mantra 1?
Yes.
The last class.
Okay.
In reference to unnecessary attachments, which was mentioned in the last para of mantra 1, Maharaj, what are necessary attachments? Are there any necessary attachments? Can we mean attachments to family, such as wife, children, grandchildren, and the present work as necessary attachments?
Yes, that's necessary attachment. Naturally, it should be attachment to the family. I think there's a purport in the Bhagavatam, Prabhupada talks about that. So naturally, there'll be some attachment for the family. That's a part of duty. That you have responsibilities, you're taking care. So that's part of prescribed duty, to look after them, care for them. Think of their welfare. But it should be controlled. It shouldn't be too much. You know, that we want to give everything, you want contribute, you know, people for the education of their children. They'll borrow so much money to send their children to faraway countries to get education. And they end up paying the money back all their life. It takes them their whole life to pay back the money they borrow for their children's education. So yeah, you have to get your children educated, but there's a limit to it. You know, how much education and how much you can actually spend for their education. There has to be some kind of control there. Then it comes to marriage, that's another thing. You know, want to get the daughter married or something, you spend so much money for the wedding, the dowry, everything. So there has to be some control over these things. It shouldn't be over endeavor. So much effort that it becomes a burden for the rest of the life. Understand?
Yes, yes, Maharaj. So basically, we need to balance both.
Yes, there has to be some kind of balance there. It has to be reasonable. All right, you have to get the daughter married. You have to give dowry. But, you know, how much dowry you have to give, you know? There has to be some limit there.
Okay, Maharaj, thank you.
Srila Prabhupada took sannyas. He still had a daughter not yet married. But still, he went off and left home. He said, Krishna will take care. Krishna did. So these are all, responsibilities in material life. Devotee is not irresponsible. That's an important point Prabhupada also makes in purports in the Bhagavatam. The devotee is not irresponsible. He has to take care of his different duties and responsibilities. People have to be looked after. But with some conditions, not that there has to be to very high, very great extent that you have to burden yourself for the rest of the life to satisfy them. So it has to be some balance, as you see. And we have to depend on Krishna also. Because even, you know, it's not just only money and everything. You may spend so much money for educating, doesn't mean the child will be so successful in material life. You may spend so much for the marriage of the girl, doesn't mean the marriage will be successful. Nowadays, of course, so many marriages also break up. No, you have to be cautious. Take care. Okay. Any other points? Okay, I think we'll finish here. So we'll see you on Friday. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Srila
Hare Krishna
Prabhupada
Maharaj.
ki.
I have one question regarding the open book question.
Oh, open book question, yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yes, Maharaj. Just regarding, we have 3 questions. How many questions to be answered, Maharaj?
I'll find out for you. I'll have to ask the managers and I'll let you know on Friday. Okay?
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yes, ma'am.
Hare Krishna.
His Holiness Bhakti Vinasa Narasimha Swami Maharaj ki
Jai.
Srila
Prabhupada
Maharaj
ki
ki
Jai. Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna for Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Can you hear me all?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah,
Prabhuji, for this Bhakti Sastri, this unit, we need to pay 6 dinar per head to Premamaya Prabhu. Please pay as per the same procedures, either by benefit pay or directly to him, 6 BD per head. If 2 members, Mataji and Prabhu, means 12 BD. And those who are not paid last one, that is a 5 BD. Please pay to Premamaya Prabhu. If you have any doubts about the benefit pay or anything, you can contact him directly. Hare
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Hari Hari.
And Friday class, Prabhu.